Christmas is coming, the goose is getting fat. Please to put a penny in the old man's hat. And if you don't have a penny, then a half penny will do. And if you don't have a half penny, then God bless you. Like, seriously, because pennies don't get you anything these days. But times are tough for a lot of people. But Christmas is coming, and most of us have a little extra to spend on some gifts. These days, so many people shop online. I started a while back myself. I know it's great to support local businesses, and I usually do, especially if they deliver. But I started couch shopping for Christmas presents long before COVID was ever a thing. I actually like going to the mall, but that's when I don't have a list. Like, I don't mind crowds and I don't mind busy malls. But if I have stuff I have to get and I need to crisscross and they don't have it here and they don't have it there, and I need to go to another mall and I need to drive and there's traffic and all that, I hate that. Like, just wandering around and doing what I want and taking it easy. That's fun. I like going to malls for that. But who wants to shop when it's busy and you can't find what you're looking for and it's stressful? So couch shopping, so much more enjoyable. And these days, it's really hard to resist just buying it all on one site and getting free 2 day shipping guaranteed. I don't have to do any shopping until the 23rd. That would probably be a bad idea, but super convenient for me. Terrible for little guy trying to make a buck or two. Before Amazon got really big, I'd hit up all the websites that I liked. I checked off all my lists, make sure to do it early enough to get it all shipped on time. Even then, occasionally it didn't come on time. There's once or twice, at least once, anyways, I was shipping something from Europe and it didn't get here in time. Didn't get here till maybe January or something like that. But you'd be sweating, like checking the mail. There's no email updates and all that kind of stuff that we get these days, but or sometimes you'd order something and it's back ordered and it's listed, but it's not available to ship and you can't find it in stock anywhere. There's no date when it's going to come. We got spoiled here for a few years. 2 day shipping, pretty much anything we wanted, couple of clicks away. Life was super convenient. Now we're starting to see some shortages in certain things, and we're learning what it's like to wait again, or to do with less, or even to do without. Can't just snap our fingers and have whatever we want when we want it. Streaming stuff, downloading movies, games, music instantly to our devices, microwaves, fast food, meals that take no time at all. When things get delayed or take some time, we're a little put out. We're not used to being told we have to wait. And sometimes people get frustrated with God for that very same reason. Pray, pray, we're asking God to provide. God doesn't seem to answer. Begin to wonder if God's even listening or if he even cares. We may think he has problems with his supply chain. There's things listed here in his inventory in the Bible, but we aren't told when it's going to be available, when it's going to arrive. We pray about something and then we hope it gets here in time, but we get stressed, wondering if he's going to pull through. Is it going to get here when I need it? Sometimes the things we're praying about aren't as important as we think they are, and we get stressed out, but God knows you don't really need that. You're going to be okay. But the things that God knows we need, it's my testimony that in experience, God has never let me down. God has always given me what I need when I need it, like always. And I've been talking about Joseph once a month for the last several months. We have these family Sundays where we have lunch together and we have a fun lesson. And I've been keeping it going, even though we can't really do potlucks anymore. But I've still been having the fun lessons. So that's what the Joseph stories have been all about. Last time when I talked about Joseph, he was still in prison for something that he didn't do. And he might have wondered, while he was a slave and while he was in prison, where's God? Like, what's up? He might have prayed a lot. May have wondered if God really had a plan in all of this. Might have had some doubts. Bible doesn't really tell us what he was thinking, and that's probably for the best, because maybe we don't really need to know what he was thinking during those years. What we do know is that God hadn't forgotten Joseph. He knew what Joseph needed, and he knew what some other people needed, and at just the right moment, God surprised everyone.
Hello, and welcome to That's a Bummer. a podcast about things that really are a bummer. I'm Gilda Rosanna, filling in for the show's host and founder, Paul Baldwin, who was all set to return to the booth this week until he contracted a severe case of malaria. I know, it's a bummer. It's a bummer for me because my ex-boyfriend, Larry, dumped me over the weekend, and all I really want to do is sit at home eating chocolate-covered cherries and cry. But hey, what can you do? I'm going to take a call right now. Let's go to Marie in Velmont. What's bumming you out, Marie? Big shock. No, Marie. Well, let's go over to Joe in Egypt. Joe?
Hey, Gilda, long-time listener, fourth-time caller.
Joe, sweetie, it's you again.
Yes, it's me again.
We have to stop meeting like this, darling. I mean, if I didn't know any better, I'd think you had a crush on me.
But I don't have a crush on you.
You don't. Come on.
No.
Well, that's a bummer. So what's bumming you out?
Honestly, Gilda, nothing. Nothing is bumming me out at all.
Nothing at all.
Not one single thing.
Aren't you still in jail?
No, not anymore. I got a full pardon from Pharaoh just this morning.
How did you pull that off?
Well, you remember that butler who had a dream that I interpreted?
Oh, the guy who completely forgot about you when he got his job back.
Yeah, that's him. Well, Pharaoh had a bad dream last night, and then he told it to the butler, and the butler remembered, I have a gift from God to interpret dreams.
Joe, did you interpret a dream for the Pharaoh?
I sure did.
Well, what did it say? The dream, I mean.
The dream meant that we're going to have 7 years of a great harvest,
Oh, cool.
followed by 7 years of extreme famine.
Ooh, bummer.
Yeah, Pharaoh was so thrilled that I interpreted his dream that he put me in charge of the relief effort preparing for the years of famine, and he made me the vice president of Egypt.
Joe, I can't believe it.
I know. All this time I've been so bummed out. I was living as a slave, and then I was living as a prisoner, and I thought God didn't remember me at all. But just like that, God made a way for getting me out of jail. And now I've got a chance to help a whole bunch of people. God makes a way somehow. I can really see that now. He knows what we need. He knows when we need it, and he gives us what we need when we need it. I'll learn to trust him a lot better now.
No, not all that. I mean, I can't believe you called in here to say you're doing well. The show's called That's a Bummer. And if you're not having a bummer of a day, I don't want to hear about it.
But Gilda,
I know. I think it's amazing what God did. And you're right. God is always faithful to supply our needs. But since God has finally met your need, we're going to have to say goodbye.
what? Or wait a minute.
We'll be back after this sponsor to hear more of what's bumming you out.
By all accounts, Joseph didn't belong in Egypt. He's betrayed, sold as a slave, wrongly accused, put in jail. To our eyes, a tragedy. Wasted years, unfair. Where was God in all this? But during all this time, in hindsight, we see Joseph was gaining experience. He learned a language, he learned customs, he learned politics, he got a connection to Pharaoh through being in jail. And when the time was right, God's plan came into focus. He provided Joseph freedom from slavery and incarceration and elevated him to a position of leadership in the land. But he didn't just help Joseph. He met the needs of an entire nation in Egypt and even those surrounding it. 7 years of great harvests were coming, followed by 7 years of even greater famine. And God provided two things. He provided a warning, what was about to happen in the form of a dream, and he provided a man who could save the whole country from starvation with his wise planning and his sweet administrative skills. People like to joke that they're so smart that everyone is playing checkers while they're playing 3D chess. And I like to say that about God. Our plans and our foresight is like playing checkers at best. Like it's more like we're just checking rocks on the ground or rolling the dice. But God is making plans and he has foresight into realms and dimensions we can't even fathom. God knows what we need before we even ask him, and God knows the things we don't even know we need. And as I've said, I've always found him to give me what I need when I need it, just like he did for Joseph. Like what was going through Joseph's mind, I wonder, as he heard Pharaoh name him second in command. Can you imagine that? He went from jail to the vice president in one day. Talk about a rags to riches story. Joseph's story is really satisfying to me. The arc is just great, especially if you like those kind of things. This is a great story. Good drama. The writing's excellent. I'm not saying God did all this with Joseph just to create a cathartic story, but the plot is top notch. A young man, a little full of hope and dreams and promise, and a little full of himself, falls on hard times. He's betrayed, falsely accused. He's at the bottom. Like he's down at the bottom. He has a glimmer of hope. Maybe Pharaoh's wine tester will help him out, but that hope's dashed. And then it's brought to life again. Suddenly all his dreams are coming true. It's the kind of story that leaves you cheering as you exit the theater. What a great tale. That feels so good because it fills you with hope for your own life. I wish something like that could happen for me. Some people would say it's a fantasy, vicarious wish fulfillment. But as many preachers have pointed out over the years, when you read something in the Bible, you can say, me too. That's for me too. See, God never forgot about Joseph. God had a plan for his life. See, Joseph needed some things that he wasn't going to get at home on the farm, tending the sheep. He needed to learn the Egyptian culture, the customs, the language. He needed a connection to Pharaoh, and he got that in prison. And throughout the course of Joseph's journey, he was picking up things that he would need. Being sold as a slave, being Potiphar's servant, then being in jail. He's picking up all these things he would need. And when the moment came and Joseph stood before Pharaoh, he was ready. Like maybe he thought all these years managing things, all these years learning stuff about these people, serving in their households. I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this. And maybe something like that's happening in your life. Maybe you are where you want to be right now. But if you're trusting in God, God definitely has a plan for you. And God is definitely working things out for good in your life, and not just for you. See, this story is way bigger than Joseph. God was showing mercy on the Egyptians who followed other gods, and he was preparing a way for his people, Joseph's family, the Hebrews, to survive the upcoming famine. God was making preparations way back for this time. God sent Joseph on ahead to prepare a place for the Hebrew tribe. And I think it's a good picture of Jesus. So Jesus also spent years living a servant's life here on earth. He ate our food, he breathed our air, he felt our pain, he died in our place. And then he went back to heaven to prepare a place for us. And there's a famine coming. Speaking figuratively, the world's going to end one day, and it's just all going to stop. But Jesus made a way for us to be saved. Just ask him to save you. Call out to Jesus, and he'll help you. And he'll take you to heaven one day. And not just that, even in the midst of potential shortages, some shortages already, maybe other things might happen. We don't know what's in store. People try to do their best, but sometimes it doesn't work out. But God can help you day to day while we're still in this world. He knows what you need, and he can definitely help you out. So sometimes we're frustrated and we wonder if God's listening. But stories like this one reassure us that not only is God listening, but he already made a way before we even asked. He already made a way before the famine was, like it was years away, but Joseph was already being prepared by God to help the people in the time of need. And God knows what you need, He knows when you're going to need it, and he's going to provide. And it's often in ways we don't expect. It might be a roundabout way. It might be a way that at the time isn't fun. But if we trust him, God always provides what we need when and where we need it most. Supply chains don't affect God. God doesn't need any kind of 2-day shipping to get us what we need. He can do it right now when we need it. The day you were born, and even before, he knew what you would need, when you would need it, and how he would provide it for you. So whenever you have a need or a concern, take it to Jesus. Trust him to help you out, and trust him especially for the biggest need you have. And that's to have a place to go, a good place to go when everything's all done and over with. Call out on Jesus. He'll help you out. God bless you. Have a great day.